All right, hey guys, this is honest thoughts on Robert Whittaker versus uh, Adesanya. I love him, but I can't say his name. This fight, I am hyped for. This fight, I think it's going to be one of the best striking matches of the year. Uh, but that does bring up some questions. Robert Whittaker has a weird style. He does. He's got a weird style. Uh, how, how far forward he leans, how far that front leg is out. His feet stay on a line together. They're not like the Muay Thai style where their stance a little squared. He's really bladed in his stance. Um, the way he uses his left hook, that weird whipping motion that he does with it, and Robert also likes to lunge in on punches. Now, before the Gastelum fight, I would have said that Robert's style of lunging in on punches wasn't going to be effective on Adesanya, but Gastelum has proven to be effective with it. Now, to be fair, Gastelum is a natural southpaw, and he's got all the experience in the world of lining up that straight left hand, in an open stance, which raises some questions on the styles and approaches of this fight. I think this fight is totally going to boil down on game planning. I don't have questions. There's no questions about either of their heart, either of their cardio. Robert has 5 round cardio. Adesanya has 5 round cardio. There's not going to be any takedowns for sure from Adesanya. It's not going to happen. Um, Now there may be takedowns from Whittaker. That would be interesting to see if that's part of his game plan. Maybe fight his normal style first 2 rounds. Maybe shoot third round, or maybe shoot the first round and keep Adesanya guessing for 2 rounds, because if Whittaker shoots the first round, he's not going to get a takedown. But I say this a lot with wrestlers, it plants those seeds of doubt if you shoot early, even if it's not successful. Some of the wrestlers I see, they want to shoot, and they'll do it twice, 3 times in the first round, and they won't get it, and they won't ever do it again. They won't even feint a shot. Now, Whittaker is much higher fight IQ for striking, so he may use those feints for shooting if he decides to do that way more effectively than a natural wrestler would, because he has a higher striking fight IQ to feint and bait. Now, they both have tricks up their sleeve as far as different combinations. Whittaker has that right hand followed by the roundhouse, and Adesanya has a right hand that he switches to southpaw and then turns around and throws a southpaw roundhouse. They're both tricky guys, but those are all things that they can study on each other and see what they need to avoid and stay away from those more dangerous combinations. Now, what I know for a fact is they both have a common opponent, Derek Brunson and Robert Whittaker. You can say that Israel Adesanya's performance against Derek Brunson was more impressive. Come on here. Just because it was cleaner, and he put him away with 1 strike pretty much, and he timed his shot. But you can't really compare the two, because Derek Brunson came out like a bat out of hell against Robert and tried to take him down 3 times. Swinging for the fences. Well, he was more swarming him, but he wasn't really swinging. But he didn't do that against Adesanya. He was more conservative, and I think that's because of the striking disadvantage he had against Adesanya as far as the height, the reach, the experience. I think he thought he had way more experience against Robert. And it was more of an even playing field as far as striking, but he was sorely mistaken. Sorely mistaken. But, you know, he did momentarily overwhelm Robert with the volume, with the pressure, with the changing of levels, you know, shooting and then coming back up and throwing punches and vice versa. But I think it's a pretty, as an assessment of their skills, a pretty even performance from both of them. Now, if we just take their styles from those two fights and maybe consider Adesanya's fight against Gastelum, Robert might have to change his style as far as striking. He leaves his lead leg way the fuck out there. You know, it's available for, you know, classic leg kicks. He'll probably modify it with a more boxing stance. But the way he fights isn't really a boxing style. You know, it's very much like it's the Robert Whittaker style. It's a weird karate style. You know, there's a lot of jumping in and single strikes. And I feel like he doesn't really set him up. And he catches guys, like he caught Derek Brunson with a jab he lunged in on, because Derek was just kind of standing there. Israel doesn't really stand there in front of you. It's like he has a bungee cord, you know, between him and his opponent, and Israel will stay within a certain length of that bungee cord. Like, he'll keep a certain distance, you know, his preferred distance. He's really good at maintaining it, and he won't let you get too far away from him. So he's constantly feinting, probing, you know, doing the duck, whatever that is. It's effective, whatever it is, but I don't have a word for it. You know, and those things disrupt timing. Those feints, those moves, those small things. You know, that's why Israel shut down Silva. Aside from the age and the reach and all the other things. You know, but Anderson Silva, once you move forward, he wants you to throw more than one punch at a time. You know, he wants that opportunity to strike like a cobra the second that you don't have your guard up, the second that you're recoiling from a punch, the second that you're about to wind up. And Israel didn't give him that chance because he's tight on everything. Everything's, you know, methodical. Everything's short and sharp and tight. And he doesn't overextend. Occasionally on the right hand he does, but all those things are going to give Robert, you know, a hard time. Now, with that being said, Robert has fought some killers. He dealt with Derek Brunson in the first round. He dealt with Jacare. He dealt with Yoel twice. Win or loss, he was there neck and neck with Yoel for 10 rounds. You know, one of the most athletic middleweights ever. You know, and Yoel still looked good when he had the best volley competition with Paulo Costa. Still looked good. You know, so you can't say the second fight was age or Yoel didn't recover all the way, because Yoel looked better in the second fight than he did in the first. And on top of that, Robert jacked up his knee in the first fight, the first half, and jacked up his hand in the second fight in the middle. You know, you can attribute that to Yoel and his technique and strategy and the pressure he put on Robert. But during the fight, you couldn't really tell. You could tell more in the second fight because of the way that Robert was not using his right hand, and the way that when Yoel started to swarm him after Robert got dropped, you know, he started using more right elbows than right punches. He didn't throw any crosses, I don't think, or if he did, he didn't throw them with the intent to land. You know, it was mostly elbows. And I noticed, like, I think in the last round, maybe when he was getting swarmed, I noticed he was throwing the elbows and then realized maybe something was wrong with his hand. But no matter what, how much Israel beats Robert up, he's not going to beat him mentally. He's going to have to straight up beat him, just like Gaston. Not going to just overwhelm Gaston by being better and being more technical and stressing him out and causing him to make mental errors or fade. You know, Robert's not going to fade. He's not going to make mental errors for the most part. Not because he's overwhelmed anyway. Might make a mistake, but that's different. But I'm hyped for this fight. I have no idea who's going to win. I love Robert. I think he's one of the best strikers, even though he's an awkward style. And I love Israel. I love everything he's done. You know, his personality, his mindset. You know, he talks trash, but not too much. I think both of them, they talk just the right amount of trash. And I love it. And I can't wait for this fight. If you put a gun in my head, I'd say maybe Israel 5-round decision or Whittaker stoppage in the 3rd or 4th round. You know, that's kind of, if I had to guess, it would be one of those two ways. Maybe Israel has a slight advantage on Robert, depending on Robert's game plan. Because that's one thing. Robert, I think he has more options. Maybe he'll shoot for a takedown. You know, maybe he'll do something else. Even though Israel has shown that he has the ability to defend those things, it might give him pause in the striking department. You know, it may prevent him from throwing shots. So that's my thoughts on that. And we'll see what happens. Let me know if you disagree. Let me know if you agree. Let me know if I'm full of shit. You know, love to hear back from you guys. All right.